What's up, everyone? Welcome to this day in Philly sports history for May 7th, 2025. I'm your host, Jim Montgomery. Welcome to a Wednesday edition of the podcast. Happy Hump Day to everyone out there. Let's get right into that Phillies game. Good one last night, 8-4 over the Rays. Bohm finally broke his home run streak. Kyle Schwarber with a homer extended his on-base streak. He's slowly creeping up the Phillies' all-time record. Castellanos hit a home run. Wheeler was outstanding, and I think there's a lot of good things to take away from this game. After that slump, Bohm has been playing fairly decent, I think, over the past few weeks. Schwarber obviously is hands down the best player on the team right now. Castellanos has been solid, and Zack Wheeler just is good. Dude is good. Bullpen was a little shaky. Kirkering gave up a run. And I forget who the last guy that gave up a run was. But overall, you'll take that. Very businesslike, doing what they need to do against teams they should be doing it against. Maybe, just maybe, it's coming together. And the fact of the matter is the fact that they're winning without playing their best is a great thing. I've talked about him on here before, but if you follow John Foley on Twitter, he's at 2008 Phils. He also works for PHLY Sports. He doesn't work for PHLY Sports anymore. He works for On Pattison. Used to work for PHLY Sports, but he's big at On Pattison with their Phillies coverage. He likes to post where the Phillies record was, 1980, 2008, and then I think he's been posting last year's, and they're right where they were on all of those seasons. So through all the troubles, through all the hassles, the Phillies are on pace with some of the best teams in their history. So that could be, and maybe now that we have a big enough sample size, just maybe they're going to be all right, because you got to figure at some point some of these things are going to come around. Seeing a lot of comments on Twitter and on my Facebook feed, though. The Negadelphia is coming back, and guys, we got to get past that old Philly mindset and get into the new Philly mindset and look and believe that maybe, just maybe, things can happen. I know with this Phillies team, it's hard because of the fact that it's the exact same team as last year, but the fact that they have not played good at all and are still like 2.5 back of the Mets and on pace with some of their best teams ever, let's take a positive. Let's be positive Wednesday or whatever you want to call it. How did Bryce do? That was yesterday's question of the day. If you are confident that Bryce will be able to turn it around, 70% of you said yes, you're confident he will turn it around. Lots of people saying similar to what I said yesterday, he consistently gets off the slow starts. Practically the exact same stat line as he had this time last year, and he turned it around. Some people questioning his leadership. The fact that even though he's slumping, you don't necessarily see him. And I don't know if that's fair, because you don't see what goes on in the locker room. Maybe he is that guy. Who knows? But a couple people, and this is where the Negadelphia comes in, that old school Philly mentality. We're talking, it doesn't matter. Trey Turner sucks on defense. The bullpen's terrible. And so far this season, you're absolutely right. However, I would have to say that at some point it's got to turn around. They're too good to play this bad. So we'll see what happens. Lots of the next month and a half is going to be huge as we head into the trade deadline to see where this team stands. Andrew Painter, let's see how he does. But I think they'll be okay. Like I said, the fact that they have that pedigree, they know how to win. They've been there. And they're winning without playing their best, and the schedule does get a little lighter here, so maybe they can snap out of it. And I'll mention it every day until they come back to Citizens Bank Park. But it's hitting season, like Charlie used to say. So thank you, as always, for participating in the question of the day. We will have another one later in the show. They're back at it tonight down in Tampa. They're playing at the Steinbrenner Stadium, home of the Yankees spring training, due to that hurricane that destroyed Tropicana Field last year. Christopher Sanchez on the mound tonight. Let's hope that he can get something going here on the road. But I think it's starting to come together. Union are in action tonight. They take on the Indy 11 of the USL Championship League. This is the U.S. Open Cup, which is a 96-team knockout tournament. So we'll see how they do. Lots of Union games coming up over the next few weeks, hopefully. But all they need to do, as long as they win tonight, they move on as they take on the Indy 11. All right, let's do some housekeeping. First and foremost, follow me on social media, Jimbo_Mont on Twitter and TikTok. On Instagram, @PhillyJimbo. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, Jimbo_Mont. And continue to spread the word as we grow this thing. Have a lot of good things coming down the pipeline. It's just a matter of getting through the busy season here at my day job. But also, don't forget, there are highlights of whatever we're talking about on my social media, including Facebook and LinkedIn. So go check that out if you want a visual representation of what is going on. Quick little side note. Yesterday, we did our Philly Sports Summer Playlist Song of the Day, and it was Buddy's Watching You by the 88 Eagles. And I really went down a rabbit hole at one point yesterday. As I was editing this, I let the song on YouTube play out. And almost every single NFL team at one point during that time frame in the late 80s did a song like this. And some of them were okay. Some of them were just brutal. But I think Buddy's Watching You, like I said yesterday, is the hook is catchy. So if you haven't checked that out, go check out Buddy's Watching You. And there is a documentary on the making of the song and everything. It's about a 20-minute watch. I have not watched the whole thing yet, but the thing I can't get over is just the clothes. Like, it's peak 1980s. Yeah, just go check it out. All right, let's run our Tankathon simulation. And for the fourth time since we've been doing this, out of 17 tries, the Sixers got the number one pick. That would be huge. It was announced officially, I think, or even though it was a badly kept secret, that Jarrett McCain will be representing them on lottery night. I don't know. Maybe that's a Doop connection there. Cooper Flagg might be coming to Philly. They weren't teammates, but I'm sure they know each other. McCain and Cooper Flagg coupled with Tyrese Maxey. You got my attention. But we'll continue to do Tankathons the rest of this week until the draft lottery on Monday. But Jarrett McCain will be in the house as the Sixers learn their draft fate next Monday, May 12th. The other big news was the Wells Fargo Center will not be the Wells Fargo Center anymore. As of September 1st, it will be the Xfinity Mobile Arena. I don't know, of all the names that place has had so far, kind of like this one the best. I don't know. Maybe they saved the best for last because the place is going to get torn down within the next 10 years or so. But it's been the Core State Center, First Union Center, which still to this day is my favorite, just simply calling it the FU Center. Then it was Wachovia and now Wells Fargo. But as of September 1st, the Xfinity Mobile Arena will be the home of the Flyers and the Sixers. I don't know. I kind of like it. Of all of the naming rights that they've had, I'll take it. But what do you think the nickname is going to be? Like, apparently that's a Philly thing that we do. Everything has to have a nickname, but what do you think? The X? I don't know. I think the team's got to be playing better if you're going to call it the X. But bonus question of the day, what should the nickname of the Xfinity Mobile Arena be when it opens? All right, be sure to check out my boys over at the Clashing Conferences podcast. Lots of great things happening on their Sports Fan Network. Go to theclashingconferences.com for details on what they have to offer, how you can get involved. And then, of course, check out their podcasts. Usually drop on Thursdays and Fridays, anywhere you get your podcasts, as well as on YouTube. I was busy last night, but I was asked to do some NFL draft stuff, and unfortunately I couldn't do it. But good things happening over there, so go check out theclashingconferences.com for details. And then, of course, go to Philly Goat. Mother's Day is this weekend. Get your mom some Philly sports-based Mother's gear. They have all kinds of stuff, and even if it's too late to order for Mother's Day, get her a gift certificate. Let her pick something out, and then scroll through, like I've been saying, and check out what they have. I got my cooler bag, looking forward to pool season with their partnership with Varsity Coolers. They have the partnership with Jordan Spector. Get some John Kruk stuff, help support his charity. Good things happening also at Philly Goat. So go to phillygoat.com. Use the promo code Jim Montgomery to take 10% off your order. That's phillygoat.com, promo code Jim Montgomery to take 10% off of your order. All right, today we got a little bit of a triple header. I could not decide which way to go with this because two of these are iconic moments in Philly sports history, and the other one is a pretty cool moment by an iconic player. So maybe it's an Icon Wednesday. Who knows? But first, we're going to start in 2001. And sticking with the stadium theme, on this day in 2001, construction officially began on Lincoln Financial Field, the home of the Eagles, one of the best stadiums in the NFL. Hard to believe that place has been open for 22 years this year. Still in great shape. Could you imagine 22 years of the vet? It was just crazy. But the Linc has hosted 5 NFC Championship games. The Eagles are 4-1, by the way, at the Linc. WrestleMania, the NHL Stadium Series, numerous concerts, Temple football games. The two big ones that come directly to mind are when they beat Penn State for the first time in 74 years, and that huge showdown with Notre Dame when College Game Day was here. The World Cup's coming this summer. So great stadium, the construction began on Lincoln Financial Field on this day in 2001. 1 year later, as construction was still going on, it was the infamous Allen Iverson practice press conference. We talked Saturday about that season ending at the hands of the Boston Celtics, 1 year removed from that magical finals run. And AI came in. He was hurt because he lost, and I think always missing in that story was he struggled that season with the death of his best friend, and just basically came in and lost it on the media. They were questioned about his practice schedule because of what Larry Brown said. And you've seen it. He said practice 14 times. But I think he was upset mostly because of the loss. And just one thing you can say about Allen Iverson, this whole press conference obviously has become sort of a punchline. We talk in practice. But I don't think anybody can question how much Allen Iverson cared about winning and about the Sixers emotionally. Did he put in all the work he should have and could have on the practice court? Probably not, and I think that's where a lot of this stems from. But he was hurt when the team lost. He wanted to win it for the fans. And I think he's one of the few guys in Philly sports history that if you kind of look at it, we talk a lot. It was Brandon Graham Day on 94 WIP but earlier this week. But we talk about guys like Brandon Graham and Jason Kelsey, those emotional leaders who you could tell when they lost, it hurt them. I think Allen Iverson does need to be included in that group because AI did care. He just went about it in his own way. But I think this press conference, even though it's become a joke, to me is very symbolic about how AI cared about the team and the passion he had and trying to win. Even though it didn't always seem like it, I think this is the perfect example of how AI felt. But the infamous press conference occurred on this day in 2002. And then finally today, we're going to wrap up in 2010. On this day, the Phillies beat the Braves 7-0. Jason Worth went 2 for 4 with a homer, a double, and 3 RBI. But it was all about Jamie Moyer. Jamie Moyer, Souderton's own, Souderton High, my wife's alma mater, pitched a complete game 2-hit shutout, having 5 strikeouts, becoming the oldest at 47 years old, 170 days to pitch a shutout in Major League Baseball. Jamie was just the absolute junk ball pitcher. Pitched until he came back, and I think he was 49 when he pitched. But you would always see, how are these guys not teeing off on him? But just goes to show that sometimes you don't need a ton of velocity. All you need to do is be a good pitcher. And Jamie Moyer, probably one of the last great pitchers in Major League Baseball. Everybody now is a fireballer. But on this day, he became the oldest player in Major League Baseball history to pitch a shutout, shutting out the Braves 7-0 behind a great offensive effort by Jason Worth. Souderton his own, Sellersville native, Souderton High School, Jamie Moyer. We celebrate you. All right, today's question of the day, though. We're going to go back to the Linc. And again, there's rumors and talks about a new stadium being in the works for the Eagles. Nothing concrete or anything like that. But in 23 years of Lincoln Financial Field, what is your favorite memory? And I had a hard time with this being at so many Eagles games. And you can do it memory of games you were at, memory of games you watched on TV. But some of my four favorite, and this will be the multiple choice today, but if you want to give something else, that's fine. Obviously, the original Snow Bowl when Shady ran all over the Lions. 4th and 26 was another good one. The NFC Championship game in 2004 when they finally got over the hump. Dawkins hit on Crumpler. Chad Lewis catching 2 touchdowns, all of that. And then, of course, Jake Elliott's field goal, the 61-yarder that beat the Giants, that if it wasn't for that, that kind of propelled them that season on to Super Bowl 52. But what's your favorite memory at the Linc? 267-495-8531. That'll get you in. Get that. Anything else Philly sports related off of your chest? Want to continue the debate on whether Bryce Harper will turn it around? Are the Phillies turning it around? All fair game. But hit me up on the Back to the Future voice and text line. What is your favorite memory at the Linc? I mentioned the 2 Temple games, which are high up there on the list for me. Numerous Eagles games. I mean, I've seen some great players in 23 years there. So, what's your favorite memory at the Linc? If I had to choose one, probably emotionally, my favorite moment would be that NFC Championship game. The Snow Bowl was probably the funnest moment. And then the two most nerve-wracking would be 4th and 26 and the field goal. And I don't think I could decide. I might give the field goal a slight edge because it did ultimately lead them on that run to the Super Bowl. But can't go wrong there. So let me know what's your favorite memory at the Linc. And then finally, we'll conclude today with our Philly Sports Summertime Playlist Song of the Day. And it's Fly Like an Eagle by Steve Miller Band. And it was released in 1976, reached number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100. And the Philly tie is obvious. Fly Like an Eagle. Our team is flying high right now as the defending champs. They do play that walking out of the stadium at the end of games. I never really paid attention to know if they play it after losses. But I do know walking out, all of a sudden you hear the the little trippy whatever instrument that is. But Fly Like an Eagle, it's always nice hearing that walking out of the stadium after a win. And it's a good summertime playlist song because it's easy listening. It's great to have a nice summery cocktail, a light beer, something, just sitting back and just listening to Fly Like an Eagle. But it does get you pumped up at the same time. So Fly Like an Eagle by the Steve Miller Band is today's summertime or Philly Sports Summertime Playlist Song of the Day. And a bonus track going along the lines of the same genre with a Philly tie. You could probably put any Hall & Oates song in there, but we'll go with Rich Girl. Kind of fits the vibe of the Steve Miller Band. So there you have it. Add those 2 songs to your summertime playlist. By the end of the month, you'll have a great 4 hours probably of music to listen to all summer while you're at the beach, the pool, up in the mountains, whatever you do, sitting in the backyard, whatever it is, taking on a road trip, put it on and you're good to go. But Fly Like an Eagle by the Steve Miller Band. And Hall & Oates, is it Hall & Oates or is it Darryl Hall and John Oates? That seems to always be a debate too. You want to get on the Back to the Future voice and text line with that, that's fine too. A little bit of a triple header today. On this day in 2010, Jamie Moyer became the oldest pitcher to pitch a shutout at 47 years old, 170 days, as the Phillies beat the Braves 7-0. Souderton High School alum, Sellersville native Jamie Moyer. In 2002, it was AI's iconic practice rant press conference where he kind of went off on the media and said, "What are we talking about? We're talking about practice." I couldn't go a whole show talking about that without getting at least one in. And then construction began on the Linc on this day in 2001. What is your favorite Linc memory? That is today's question of the day. We'll run another Tankathon simulation tomorrow. We'll update you on the Phillies Rays as well as the Union as they take on the Indy 11 in the United States Open Cup, 96-team knockout tournament. go have yourselves a hump day. This has been This Day in Philly Sports History for May 7th, 2025. My name is Jim Montgomery, and until next time, I'll see you when I see you.